Alrighty guys, I'm Casey and welcome to a brand new episode of our Minecraft modded survival world. Last episode we finished off the spider house in the mob district, which we was trying to get ready, but it's episode 25, which means it's a world tour. So we're going to be touring our base, we're going to be touring what we've built in our base. Also going to be discussing plans for the next 25 episodes. So there's no other place really where to start other than our base. So, I started this world. This world I started years and years and years and years ago, and I played it exclusively in my free time. But a couple of months back, I decided that I was going to just start building up big giant builds on this world, and doing this as a building series as opposed to a playing series. And so I decided that I was going to build up a medieval sort of like city slash town. Now typically in cities you'll see a lot of the buildings are connected and they run as like one big long unit. I don't kind of want that. I want individual buildings scattered all over here. And we will get to having a city with long buildings later on. But for now I want them to be mostly individual. We'll have some connected, I think. But I decided that I was going to bring this series to YouTube, and I was going to use it as a building series where we just basically built up something. Season 1, we're working on some sort of like medieval city or castle, depending how you want to call it. We're all going to have a keep or a palace, probably a palace. But we've got walls, we've got buildings and all stuff like that. And no, this is not the keep, this is a barracks where I am now, and this was the first build. But before I get into the tour, I just kind of want to tell you a bit about the world. So, like I said, the mod pack that I'm using, this is modded Minecraft. It's 1.7.10, so it's a bit of an old, outdated mod pack. It's a mod pack called Design Tech. It was done by Welsknight, and over the course of this playthrough of this Design Tech, we've added mods to it. Now, this world is obviously, this world is part of a group of us. There's me, there's one of my best friends, and then there's my wife. You can see over here is one of my best friend's builds. And then my wife is situated bases over there. They don't do YouTube, but it's so nice just to play around on this world with them and just to build things up. I'm really attached to this world emotionally, having put hundreds upon hundreds of hours into this world, probably thousands to be honest. And I did tear down my original base, which was a little building right around here, and then it went underground. The underground part is still there, but I got rid of the on top bit so that we could actually build something together. I thought it'd be nice to have all the buildings sort of come from us. And we had around about here, we had a build that housed our ME system, which is down here. So this is kind of like become our unofficial base of operations because I haven't built a place for our stuff to go just yet. And I'm slowly moving the stuff out of here. But for right now, this is just a disorganized mess. You know, like Spike 1.7.10, you get them. You know, we've got stuff here where we was making, what's this again called? End brick, end stone. Making end stone. I've got my ME system set up here. I've got a gift from a friend, sword, which is a really cool soul scribe. So subscribe for soul scribe. But yeah, so this is the barracks. This was the first build that I made when I decided to do this series for YouTube. And I started this build by simply just laying out a stone brick outline of where I wanted this to go. Then I started adding to it, and the idea was, well, unfortunately, before I get to the idea, I ended up recording most of building this barracks, but the vast majority of it got corrupted. I had an issue with my computer. I'm still having issues with my computer, so I ended up losing the recording for this barracks, but that's okay, you know. We've got the recording for the rest of it. So the original idea was for this barracks was to have sort of like the tiers of officers being higher up in it. So you'd probably have, if we go down here, this would be the sort of like welcome area. This would be where you'd sign into the barracks, and you can see milk dripping through because I've been pranked a couple of times. The chickens are also a prank, and if you see pigs, they were a prank as well. But this would be where you'd come in, you'd sign in, and then you'd go about your business. In here we'd have a kitchen or a bathroom. We'd have the exact same thing on the opposite side. We've got the same sort of setup over the opposite side. I do have a jet plate, but it's really fast to move with, and you don't kind of get the feel, so we'll just sort of do that. So there's that. Then as you come into the side halls, again, these are the same. You'll have beds, and this is how they're going to go. But I haven't done in here. I want to use DecoCraft, and we're currently working on sort of being able to fill our deco bench fully, and I'll get to that in a bit if you don't know what DecoCraft is. But we're going to have sort of bunk beds in here where the soldiers and the troops sort of hang out, sleep. We'll have a little bit of storage in here. Then you go into here and we've got a staircase. And then in here would just be another like mess hall. It'd be somewhere they'd chill out. Maybe we'll have a small armory. We are going to have an armory dedicated building where I want to build all the different types of armor in the pack. But this will probably just be like stuff that they have out where they can go out and fight in the courtyard. More eggs everywhere we go. And again, this room is the same. And this room will be just another one of those bunk areas where troops sleep and whatnot. And then as we go over here, we've got, again, another bathroom. Now, over this side, we've got this sort of archway here, which leads into the wall. And you can go around the wall here. And this is going to be here. We haven't really done too much when it comes to the wall yet. We've sort of, you know, we've given it a design, we've given it a kind of style, but as terms of functionality, we haven't actually gone through here yet and given it, you know, the stairs and stuff that it needs. Right now, it's just sort of for aesthetically purposes. But anyway, if we go up the stairs, you can see upstairs in the barracks. And we've got 2 staircases here. This one didn't actually mean to come down this far, and I don't think I brought it down this far over here. It was only supposed to go up 1 level. Oh no, I did bring it down this level. But yeah, so the idea would be that the sort of like the captain of this side here, this would be another sort of dormitory where they'd go. And the captain who sort of lives here, let me grab a bucket so we can get rid of this milk. But yeah, the sort of like captain of this side, this left-hand wing or right-hand wing, he would have his quarters here. And you can see he's got his quarters here. He can come here, he can look out over the sort of hall here. He can look out over the kingdom here. And of course, he'd go up to his 2nd quarters here. And then up to his 3rd quarters, which is where we need to go to get this milk. There we go. Now we can get back to the tour a bit safer. So yeah, if we come on down here, you can see he comes upstairs into his other quarters. He's got access to the other captain. Again, we've got the exact same on this side when it comes to the quarters. Another quarter here. Then you go downstairs into the lower quarter here. And it's pretty much set out the same way. And again, onto the wall here. Or into the dormitory, sorry, here. Again, this isn't finished. This is still a work in progress, this barracks. But it's done to a point where I'm happy to go and work on other projects for now. But anyway, let's get back over here because there was something that we missed over if we go down here. Now, each one has or will have access to the wall here. I haven't done the wall on the other side yet because we haven't decided what's going to go over there. But again, as you can see, he has access to the wall and can walk onto the wall. So if we go back in here, the one thing that I kind of glossed over is over here, above the sort of mess hall, this is where the captains would come. And what they'd do is they'd stand out on the balcony. You can just see off here in the distance. And the idea would be that they'd come out here and they'd watch their men battle each other. You know, train against each other, see how they're doing so they can decide who to promote, who to take with them, that kind of stuff. You know, they'd have access to that, and that's why that's here. Then on these 2 sides, if we go out here, these are the captain's halls. Then you'd have the sort of officer, like their next superior would be here. And he's got his quarters here, which then again also goes up to the top here. And then the sort of officer or general would be over here. And we've got this walkway again, yeah, because this captain or this officer or lieutenant would need access to the officer here, the general. And he's got his quarters over here. He's got sort of like public quarters here where people can come chat. You can also go out and look out over the kingdom here. If you notice, there's 2 sort of chunks there. Those chunks got corrupted and I had to replace them. And when I replaced them, they became a different kind of biome to the rest of this area. So I think they're birch forest and this is our swamp. So yeah, he's got a balcony there. He can also go up his stairs here. And what we've got up here is another balcony over here where we can look out over our allied kingdom. Like I said, Sparkles is over there. And we're allied with him, so we've got a good relationship with him. And we can also see out over this area here. And then again, we just go back up again. I don't think he's got a 3rd floor. No, he just has his little hut up here where he can come out and just sort of look over from his tower to see what's going on and where it's being attacked. And you can see the whole kingdom from here pretty much. So in a nutshell, this barracks is just simply unfinished yet, but it has purpose why we built it. And I do believe you can get onto the wall from the quarters here, yeah? Yeah, we can. And so all we did really was keep it simple. It may look complex, it may look like there's a lot going on here, but it's actually just fairly simple. And when I say that it's unfinished, it is. If you look down here, we've got texture variation in these blocks. Look, you can see here, but I haven't brought it up here and up here. And that's because I've been using something called a swapping wand here, and this requires XP to use, and I accidentally misplaced my swapping wand and I couldn't find it for the longest time. And it requires XP, so we needed some sort of XP farm. Now we've got XP, I can actually come back and do the texture variation here. That's not a problem. But we didn't have an XP farm at the time because, like I said, I tore down my old base. But yeah, so this is the barracks. So we started this by literally putting out the stone outline, and we built it all up as just blocks of stone and then added to it. I can't really show you that video because I don't have it, but yeah. So that's the barracks. Now let's move on to the next project, which we started work on, which was this wall here. If you look from here, this wall didn't exist. We had this wall here going all the way around this gatehouse, all the way across here, and coming around over here. And I did do this in a video, and the idea behind this wall was to keep it in the exact same style as the barracks. And another thing we did with the barracks, just to make it different, is we added the roofs on like this, and then these ones sideways, just to add some difference to it. I did try them both the same way, but I kind of liked them just being alternate like that. It made it a little bit different. But yeah, and again, we just built this wall up out of stone, and I can show you, if you look over there, that's what we did with the stone wall. We just built it up like that, and then we added bits to it and sort of broke it down into sections, and I did that as like a tutorial. So we broke the wall down, then we broke the towers down, then we added a gatehouse, which this is the gatehouse, this is the entrance to our kingdom. And again, we already knew a similar style we were going for because we'd built the barracks, we kept it in the same style. And we've got another sort of walkway here, which doesn't actually, you can't access this walkway yet. Like I said, we haven't done inside of these gatehouses yet. We haven't sort of decided like what's going to go on in here yet. We still got some of that to do. But we got the gatehouse done, and we've got these gates here which go up and down, like so. So we can pop them in. And again, you can walk all along the wall here, so that's not an issue. But I didn't mean to put that down. Let's put that back down now. So that's the gatehouse, that's the wall, and for the wall we just kept it very simple. You know, we just used simple things that we repeat. You know, we've got this glass pane here. We've got this fence gate here, this carpenter's fence, and again we're using that. So we know how to fill areas. We filled the areas in here with the carpenter's fence as well. And again, we used a little eye here, which I just realized is an eye. You know, you can see that we've got the window panes here. And by doing that, by having some sort of template of what we were doing and how we were building, we were able to fill gaps relatively easy. You know, it wasn't that difficult to figure out what was going where. And this kind of looked bare. It needed to fill out a little bit more. And adding this walkway gave it some sort of like depth. It gave it some more interest, made it unique. Shall we see if we get a chicken on there? Hey, we got 3 chickens out of 5 eggs. I've noticed in this mod pack, chickens do spawn quite regularly. So yeah, and one thing that I didn't point out with this barracks that I did, and I did this on purpose, is these windows aren't lined up. If you look, they're not lined up with each other. They sort of alternate the block that they're on. And I did that just to add interest. It's the same on there. And the ones on the opposite side don't line up either. So this side goes straight to a stone brick wall. This side goes to a window. And it just adds a little bit more interest, I thought. I made it something different and unique. It took me about a week to build this barracks, actually. I didn't get time to sit down and play properly, so there's a lot of short clips here and there. But yeah, so that's what we worked on next. After we worked on the wall, we decided that we wanted to sort of start to flesh out our barracks a little bit more. We wanted to add some more stuff to it. But to do that, we needed something called a deco bench, which is this thing here. And this deco bench requires clay, it requires red dye, it requires green dye and blue dye. Which blue dye isn't a problem, red dye again just isn't a problem. Green dye is a bit of a problem, and the clay is a bit of a problem. But still, I wanted to have a generation of all 3 of these colours and clay. I sort of wanted to start auto-generating it. And to do that, I wanted some bone meal, so I could duplicate the red flowers. Because if you don't know this, in Minecraft, this is actually in vanilla. If you grab any too tall flower, and I don't have bone meal here, so let's go over here, because my bone meal is in my mob shop, in the mob drop shop, which will be the next thing that we'll talk, but I'll show you this first. But yeah, so we want bone meal to make flowers, so we can make dye. And like I said, do I actually have bone meal here? Yes, I do. Any too tall flower, any flower that is 2 blocks tall, you can just take bone meal to it and hold right click, and it's literally going to pop off more of it. And like I said, this is vanilla stuff. So I wanted to do that, but I needed a source of bone meal for that. Actually, I can put this away by just doing that. I needed a source of bone meal, so we decided we were going to make a mob farm. Originally, it was just going to be a skeleton farm, and as you can see on the map, the mob district is over here, so we've been doing a lot of work. And the skeleton farm ended up becoming a whole entire mob district. So we're going to go over there in just a minute. But I decided that I needed to make money on the server, and on the server we use emeralds currency. We're not allowed to set up an emerald dedicated farm. I've got an entire dimension built for Yellorium, so it's easy for me to get Yellorium for my reactor. I'm not allowed to do that with emerald. I can set up a quarry to quarry extreme hills, but I can't go and just set up something that's going to generate me emeralds passively, really. So I decided that I was going to sell mob drops, and this is everything pretty much that mobs will drop. There are some things that I've not put in here. I still need to come through here. As things work their way through the farm, they end up in this chest, so I've taken out these 2 logs here just so I get to that for now. But we're running out of room to store things in here, so I do need to have a rethink of what I want in this mob drop shop and what I want to put in another shop. That's something in a future episode. But this is a world tour episode 25. It's not a big world tour like episode 50, so I'm not going to have everything perfect. As you can see here, we got some offers. You know, all weapons and tools are 2 pieces for 1 emerald. Skeleton drops 4 stacks 1 emerald. Spider drops 3 stacks 1 emerald, and stuff like that. I put obsidian here just because I knew someone needed it and I wanted to make a little bit of money on it, which we did. 1 emerald, wow. Over here we've got an ME system that has all of the enchanted gear. I don't think there's anything in here that isn't enchanted, although there may be the odd thing that gets through the system. No system's perfect, and I do know that a steel chest plate got in here somehow, and I don't know what happened to that. Oh, there it is, and we've also got Blaze Vita as well. Not sure why that got in there. But yeah, this takes everything from the mob farm, it puts it into here. Obviously, it repairs the armor and dumps the armor in the ME system. Once the ME system fills up, or rather not when it fills up, when this fills up and when this fills up, it expels it. This is what the ME system expels it to. But also this chest is set up behind here to sort of expel as well. So it comes out of this chest, tries to go into this big block of drawers. If it can't go into this big block of drawers, it goes into this ender chest. And problem solved. And that ender chest goes to sort of like our deep storage where we're storing a lot of items. So this is a mob drop shop. Went for andesite and a carpet just to mix it up a little bit. And people can come here and buy. And yet again, we need sleep. So feels like you sleep really, really often on this game for some reason. Okay, so let's go over to the mob district. Now you can see that the wall isn't built up at this bit. And that's because I'm not 100% certain that I want to take the wall here. I'm not sure what I'm going to put here. I probably will keep the wall here, but I'd rather just wait for it. So this is the mob district. And we built this river custom. This river wasn't here. We built it custom. We added a lot of stuff underneath it. It looks a lot better before I filled it in. It really looked like a riverbed. I was really happy with how it looked before I filled it in. And when I filled it in, it kind of ruined it. So, yeah. And that goes all the way around here. Now, I haven't decided how I want to blend this into the rest of the world, because we are a few blocks here. We may do a waterfall here. Same over this side. If I put this on, I can just zoom over here to show you real quick. Same with this side. I haven't dropped it down here yet either. So, in any sort of like modded world, especially ones where you have technology mods, you're going to be generating a vast amount of resources, and we all need somewhere to store them. So this was our storage house. It's kind of ugly, which is something that I wanted to go for as well. I wanted it to be kind of ugly, and it's kind of bare. We're coming through this district at the minute where sort of vamping it up some. You know, I want to put a giant tree over this side, but we'll see. But let's take you inside here. You can see what this is like. So, I deliberately did this. If you look up there, there's redstone lamps, and they turn on like that. So there's delays between each of them, and it just kind of feels like a factory, how a factory does. So this is our deep storage. This is everything that we're generating mass amounts of. So far, it's not stocked up yet, but it will. And this is all deep storage units. This allows you to store one particular item, but vast amounts of that particular item. We've got storage drawers over here for our ingots, iron and gold, and we will be running deep storage units to all of these, but I ran out of equipment to do this with. So, and I don't think I'm going to stock these up for quite some time yet. There's quite a lot of storage in there. And if we go down here, you can see that we're running cables everywhere because these run on channels. You can see each of these lights is a channel, so we can't have these connected, so we have to put these cable anchors in. It's a whole long procedure. It takes a while. We're also storing liquids here, but this liquid is full. I need to add more storage to it. But yeah, that's all that is. The liquid storage is over in this corner, all the way over here. And we've only got one. I may add like a whole row for liquid because liquid is easy to generate in comparison to items. And the deep storage units, they hold a lot more than what the barrels do, the drums do. And that's a bedrockium drum. It holds a lot. You know, we've got 65,000 buckets of essence. So I need to start doing something with essence. And there is, up in the ceiling, there's what's called a magnum torch. And that stops mobs from spawning naturally within a 50 block radius. And then in some of these roofs there's chandeliers which also do the same thing, but on a much shorter radius, so we're good. So, this over here is the creeper and ghast farm. I've currently got it turned off because, like I said, I'm overstocking in the chest and I've not got enough room, so I'm kind of sorting all that out. But this spawns creepers, this spawns ghasts, and if we go up here, we also spawn witches. I think this is creepers, this is witches, and this is ghasts. And obviously we've got levers to turn it on. Down here is a sort of buffer storage where we store all the things that they drop. So we do have a source of redstone, glowstone now, which is good, and gunpowder and sugarcane. Or not sugarcane, sugar. But unfortunately, you know, you can see this essence is here. And another buffer chest just to be on the safe side. So that's the creeper farm. And most of these farms are just the same sort of idea with these killing chambers, like this. But just done in different shapes to make it unique. And of course we've got the path and we've got the texture variation in the dirt here. I want to sort of bring some of this out here, this in the riverbed. I want to bring some of this out and onto this side here, just so it blends a little bit, but I will do that in due time. Now, I am revamping these mob houses. We just built the style so I can get the mob houses in, and we're currently working on revamping them. There's two that we have revamped, and I want to save that bit for the end of the talk. So, over here we have a skeleton farm. And as you can see, like I said, again, same thing, 3 chambers. There's actually 6 chambers for skeletons, because I think bone meal is going to be important. Over there. And if we go down here, you can see the drops. I don't store the... I did used to store the bows and armor here, but I don't anymore. I just send it straight off to the factory. I'll show you the factory in a minute. So again, very simple, very similar to the creeper farm, just built in a different style. And again, well, built in the same style, just built in a different shape. So this is a factory. It doesn't look very factory-esque. I want to kind of get rid of this roof. It doesn't feel factory-esque. I need to make this feel more like a factory. But I needed a place to sort of deal with all the mob drops. And right now it's up here. And this is probably something in a future episode where we're going to revamp this. You can see that we've got the chest here. All the mob drops siphon off into this chest, which then gets pulled into this chest. And as you can see, I haven't got room for all of this in the shop. I need to sort of do some reorganization in the shop. And here to stop producing things, I'm producing bones and bone blocks. I'm producing arrows and quivers of arrows, which I'm not going to do anymore. I'm breaking these down to produce their additional stuff. I think I'm going to ship these off to the mob drop shop, and then anything else, once these are filled up in the mob drop shop, siphon them back off here, siphon them to a new shop to have the additional stuff that comes from making it from these stuff. So yeah, this is our repair station. This is my attempt to make it sort of fit in some, but then I thought, you know what, no, I'm going to do that as an entire episode when I've got an idea, and I'm slowly getting a really cool idea for this factory. But as you can see, we've got armor. This just doesn't do gold. Helmets, this does all the helmets, and then all the chest plates, all the leggings, all the boots, all the swords and bows, and that. And there's nothing in there. But I need to figure out what to do with these Vitas here, because they cram up the system. They don't stack. They don't even stack in storage drawers. So it's kind of annoying. I'm not sure what to do with them yet. But anyway, this is a episode 25 world tour. I don't want to be going on long. The episode 50 world tour will probably be like an hour-long special. So let's carry on moving around here. We'll also go into all the other bases in episode 50 as well. Because like I said, there are other people that play on here. But this over here is the zombie... Nope, this is not the zombie farm. This is the Blaze, Blizz, Basil, and the other one farm. You know, all the things that float like blazes and look like blazers. And we've got the drops down here. The obsidian dust, the sulfur, the nither, and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, I am revamping this area. I actually got a chest over here. We are currently working on revamping this area, but I'm doing it slowly as I get ideas for each house and how I want them to look. Because I still want to keep this style, still want to keep this design. And this is the slime farm. Magma, cubes, and slime spawn here. And again, same killing chambers, very similar in design. But this also shows you what they looked like before I even started work on them. You know, this was just the basic design that I built up. Funny story, actually. I was supposed to be doing this house over here, the Creeper House, in one episode. Then I put a band on called The Who. Not the, like, 1970s, 80s Who, but the HU, Mongolian band. They are fantastic. And somehow, while listening to them, I ended up over here building up this house instead. Now, you may be wondering why there's this around here. Well, you see, skeletons, they can spawn out here. This stops them. So when I do the skeleton house, I need to make sure that I do this. I made this one block too small. I did this only in a 3x3 area. They can spawn in a 4x4 area. So this block here and this block here is a spawnable location. So I've got to deal with that. We'll kind of see how that goes. But yeah, as we move over here, we've got over here, this is a zombie and a zombie pigman farm. Again, this has all mob farms have 2 floors. And if we go over here, you can see we've got the zombie pigman stuff over there. We've got the zombie stuff over there. I'm probably going to unify these eventually. But we'll kind of see where that goes when I kind of get over here. You know, we've got a bit to go. And this is the bit that I'm really proud of. This is where we've been working on the most at the minute. We're kind of working from this corner. Now this is the gate. This is going to go out of our kingdom, and it's going to travel all the way up here along this sort of like netherrack pathway, all along here, and to here to where there'll be a bridge into Sparkle's kingdom. But gatehouse, again, we used the same design that we used over here on the wall. Go over here. We used these 3 different towers. We've got 3 different towers. We've got a small one, a medium one, and the larger ones here we used for the gatehouse. We just took the smaller one and made it slightly different. We added a roof to it. That's pretty much all we did to sort of set this apart from all the rest. So it actually looks like a gate. And then we just built up the wall around it and added a gate. Now, the gate is unfinished in a way because this gate, it's bare. This gate has some stone buttons on it. And I don't know if I like these stone buttons. A part of me is like, yes, I like them. And another part of me is like, no, they don't work. I think it kind of breaks it, so I think I might get rid of them, but I'm just going to play around with it a little bit to see which one I get the feel for the most. So I do want to put like a map wall here that has a map on it of this area. It's something that I want to do, but we haven't got around to it yet. But this is kind of like where I'm proud of. This is the Enderman farm. And again, another unfinished product, because these are ender lily seeds. They grow into and have an ender pearl on them, but I don't have enough to go around. So unfortunately, some of this is undone. Now this inside is very much different from the rest of the mob farms. As you can see, we've got walls, we've got doors. This is where the endermen spawn in. We've got an upstairs. We actually got a staircase in this one. Like I said, I'm revamping them and changing them and making them actually feel like the mob farm that they are. So you can see that that's the mob farm there. And we can go up. I haven't done anything in any of the roofs yet, in the sort of like upstairs. I don't know if I'm going to put like an enderman in here and have him be like the captain of this area, the sort of henchman or whatnot. I'm still undecided on that. I definitely want to. So maybe it's something we'll do. And then if we go down to the basement, you can see that this is, again, it's all sort of organized. We go into here. We kill endermen differently in here. We use spikes. And we do that because endermen drop the most XP of any mob, I think. I know that they're always used for XP farms. Don't quote me on that one about them dropping the most XP. But I figured that, hey, we'll use them. And they go into these spikes here. And they drop XP, which then ends up in these here. And right now I've drained this one and I've drained this one. But this one has still got levels in it. I drained these to use them for the swapping one that I talked about earlier on in the episode. And then the enderman drops here. And then back here you can see we've got just sort of the chest, the buffer chest and stuff. So we're all good, we're all good. And then the problem that we face with these enderman farm is we've got 4 spawners and each spawner uses 15,000 RF per tick. And the pipes that we use to transfer energy, they can only transfer 20,000 RF per tick. So we had to get a little bit creative with this. And if we come over here, oh, there's fans. You can see that behind here, we've not got the energy conduits touching. We've had to disconnect them from each other so I can run 4 separate lines. It's annoying with these fans. Actually, this one should be displaying that as well. If you don't know how to do that, that's shift and right click. These are capacitor banks so that this place will still have some power if our system goes down. It will have a fair amount of power. So yeah. Anyway, we've got this door here, and you'll notice this on the spider farm as well. This is going to lead into a sewer. And right here we've got a switch that allows us to turn an enderman farm on and off. And I want to run that switch all the way to the factory. So that I can have, in the factory I can just go in there and I can turn these mob farms on and off at will. And to do that, I thought it'd be good to run these lines through a sewer. I've got a really cool idea for a sewer that I want to do, so I'm kind of looking forward to getting to work on this sewer. It's going to be a little bit of a troublesome one here because we literally have this in the way, this building here. But I find that a challenge, you know, something to do. So yeah, that's that. So if we go up, we can actually have a look upstairs. And we can go off to the spider building. Now, I have a fear of spiders. Spiders scare the hell out of me, and I enjoy doing this build a lot. This is it. We've got cobwebs everywhere. You can see them inside. We've got little decorative spiders everywhere here. And again, if we go up here, you can see we've got some cobwebs on some of these. We've got spiders on the others. We put spiders on these things here. We've got these giant spider webs with a spider on it. We've got spiders all over the roof. Now, I know that technically spiders are black and white. They're the kind of colours that you would go with for a spider. But looking at it, actually, their eyes are purple. So I'm glad I went with this now. But it's just I couldn't find any black wood. Not unless I painted it black, and that I didn't have a lot of black dye. So I ended up just going with ghost wood. This is actually dead wood. And, you know, ghost wood we get from the nether. But the dead wood, you can't grow it. You have to find it. We had to travel quite a distance out to find some of this wood. Like I said, even with the enderman farm, we had to travel all the way over here. You know, this is a dead forest, and then somewhere over here is the enderman, where I found the enderman stuff. For the enderman one, I think it was like down here. So, this wood, at least this wood you can grow, but this wood you cannot. You just have to get it. So, we can't use this wood too often. But it kind of fit the style that I wanted to go with. And as you can see, the style is very similar. You know, these houses do fit well with each other because of the style. We've just changed the palette slightly so that they do fit with kind of what they are. And then we get back here. This is another bit I'm very proud of. these are my first attempt at a custom tree. First real attempt at a custom tree. And I don't think it looks too bad. I think it looks good. And again, we've got another tree back here that we can actually walk around, which is something I wanted to happen. Put a lot of effort into this so we could walk around it, and then I accidentally put a fence post there, so we couldn't. So I got rid of it. Then we've got like a little bit of a park back here. This was my first attempt at filling some space. We've got a couple of benches. We've got these big, I'm calling them arrow trees. They look like arrows. And this is all custom. I placed each of these blocks individually. I didn't grow a tree here. I'm very much big on custom trees as opposed to growing your own. And I'm no good at custom trees, so this was a first attempt, and I think it came out alright. We've got a couple of saplings from this tree here, because trees, they would drop saplings. But to stop these saplings from growing, we've put a piece of string on top of them. It's just a tip to stop them from growing. This over here is a little kind of well. It doesn't really make sense that it'd be up against the wall, but still, I just wanted something to fill the space, so we filled the space. This little pump, I really wanted this pump to be against the wall, but it won't let me put it there, so I had to put it here. And then we got a couple of things just sort of growing here, a bit overgrown. It's out of the way, it's out the back, so it would be overgrown some. You know, we probably won't have it overgrown near the path as much, but I just think it adds some life to it. And again, you can see we're still missing some ender lily seeds here, which is a little unfortunate, but what can you do? What can you do, eh? But yeah, I think that's everything. We've toured the world, we've toured this area, yes, we've shown off everything here. The only thing I haven't shown off is my original underground base, but that's not really part of this tour, so I don't think I'm going to. But you can sort of see the extent of the land that we're going to do. We've sort of flattened a lot of this area. This is where the palace is going to do. I'm going to custom build this, and you may notice over here we've got some rises in the terrain. Just because we flattened the area doesn't mean we're going to build on one big flat land. I think that kind of makes it boring. You know, we do have ups and downs over here. It does lift in places. It does go down in places. You can see there it goes down. There it goes down. There it goes down. So it does kind of work really well in that effect. That just because it's flat doesn't mean that you have to keep it flat. You can see these netherrack bits are where bridges are going to go. You can see where some bridges are going to go. And one's going to go over there. And again, you can see this blue is the outline of where the river is going to go. This is probably going to be the next area that we work on, I'm thinking. But it'll do for now. It'll do for now. So yeah. But guys, I think that is going to do it for this episode. So, if you've enjoyed the video, please do consider leaving a like. It really helps out the channel. I really do appreciate it. So please do leave that like. And click subscribe if you want to see more from me. Guys, I'm KC. I want to thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.